I wish I had your quizzes with me so you could look at them, because again, I saw the use of fractions on the quiz, which there was, I didn't take the full points off as promised on the rubric for doing that, because I felt like it would be unfair. I wanted a chance to explain it to you first. So why can't you use fractions? Well, for example, what I mean by using fractions is when you have a divided by b, you have the representation that b is equal to a multiple of a. Why can't I then do this? Well, the problem is you're working on integers, and there's no guarantee that s divided by b is going to be an integer. So this is actually incorrect usage. And that's the reason that we can't write s divided by b. It might not be an integer. Now, in some cases, in Underwood-Dudley's book, it turned out that it was an integer, but he had to prove first that it was an integer before he could do any work with division by fractions. So don't use, as a rule, fractions or fractional expressions in your proofs unless you prove first that the fraction is really an integer. Even then, you don't need to do this. For example, you don't need to write s divided by b. Suppose s divided by b turned out to be an integer. Well, you can say b is equal to a times s, and then a divided by b turns out to be s. You don't have to use the expression a divided by b. You can just use the variable s. So there, you don't need to represent it as even a fraction. You could in your scratch work somewhere to the side, but then in your proof you don't need to write down anywhere a divided by b. You can just use the value s. So instead of carrying around the expression a divided by b, which sends an alert to the grader, this person's using fractions, they might not know what's going on, instead of that, you could just carry around the s. Make sense? Okay, are we okay with that one? I think I'll keep